Ramblings of a Music Teacher, Episode 33. Is it worth appealing an ABRSM result? So your result has arrived, and to your disappointment, the mark was considerably less than what you expected. Should you appeal? And what are the chances of your appeal being upheld? This situation actually happened to a whole batch of my students back in the autumn of 2014. I always give my students little mock exams before the big day, and so far I have been pretty close, usually plus or minus 5 marks what they got on the day. However, on this one occasion, the marks came back with the whole group consistently about 10 marks below what I expected. Fair enough, one student may have had an off day, nerves got the better of them, but all 9 of the students from that batch? To me it seemed more than a coincidence, and so I decided to appeal. Today I will explain how I went about it, how you can appeal an ABRSM result, and what the outcome was in my case. In those days, that is, before 2016, you had to pay a fee for a practical exam appeal, so one needed to be extra sure that the mark was indeed unfair. Now no fee is charged, so you have nothing to lose really. First of all, you need to download an appeal form, and the links for this can all be found on my blog, which is in the description below. Note that it is a slightly different form for UK students and international students, but both will be needed to be posted back to the Quality Assurance Department in London, the address being on the form, and this should be done as soon as possible and no later than 6 weeks after the exam for UK students, or 4 weeks after the results were issued for international students. This form has 2 uses. One is for formal appeal and the other for informal feedback, and the way in which your complaint will be treated is different depending on which box you tick. To stand a reasonable chance of your appeal being upheld, you will need to show that there's an obvious discrepancy between comments, marks, and the official marking criteria. With this in mind, you should then study in detail the mark sheet you received from ABRSM and compare it with their published marking criteria, which can also be found on my blog post. Try to identify any discrepancies you can find between the marks and comments you were awarded and the criteria they publish, and note these in as much detail as you can on the appeal form. This form should then be posted back to ABRSM with the original mark form and, in the case of international students, an unedited recording of the candidate performing the exam pieces, and a selection of scales and arpeggios, as well as a letter verifying that the candidate is the performer and the recording is unedited, stating the date of the recording. UK students may still be asked to provide such a recording at a future date, but this is not necessary initially. Then you cross your fingers. If your appeal is upheld, the ABRSM will either give you a voucher equivalent to the value of the original exam, and this can be used to enter for the same grade exam free of charge within 1 year of issue, or as a part payment toward a higher grade within the same time frame. Or in some circumstances, they might offer you a full refund of the original entry fee. However, they will not amend retrospectively any marks as a result of a formal marking appeal. That means your result won't be changed, but you can take the exam again for free. And more importantly, in my opinion, you will personally feel justified in saying that the mark was unfair. In my case, I received a very long letter which initially seemed to be backing up their examiner, but right at the end, the following paragraph was key. Regarding the mark form comments for your supporting tests, we did sympathise with your concerns over the quality of the comments. Some choices of phrase were not wholly supportive of the mark awarded. They were not also as explanatory or clear as they could have been, and in the light of the disappointing standard of the mark form comments, we are happy to uphold your appeals on this occasion. If you are interested in reading the complete letter, a copy is also available on my blog. So, in answer to the original question, should I appeal? If you really believe that your marks on the day are not in line with the ABRSM marking criteria, or that the supporting comments on the mark sheet don't tally with the marks, then yes, you do stand a good chance of your appeal being upheld. Please comment below if there is anything else about this process you would like me to clarify further. And as always, thank you for listening, and tune in next week for more ramblings of a music teacher.